Hey guys, welcome into the Pugger Reborn channel. We are checking out the Retinue Part 2. We're going to kind of go over Retinue Part 1, and I'm going to have in the section below, you'll see the contents of this, and if you want to skip something or get my in-depth thought on it, it'll be all down there in timestamps. So, the number one thing I do want to start with, though, is this paragraph here. I'm going to read this. I'm just going to go over, I'm not going to read everything in here, but I'm going to go over exactly what it's talking about, and then predictions. So, starting out. There's a total of 5 slots available for you to fill, with several times as many followers to choose from. Choosing the right set of followers for your company is another way to customize it to your play style and to make each company and playthrough feel more unique. Do keep in mind that everything you're about to learn is still under development and therefore subject to change depending on how the testing goes. This is doubly true for numbers, which is why we are not showing... Okay, numbers. Okay, which is why we're not showing any of them this week. Onwards then. Also, at the very end here, it does not say what next week is going to be entailing, so I'm sure they are doing a lot of testing right this instant, which is fine. It's great, actually, but just something to think about. So ultimately, you have 5 slots. You get several times as many followers available to choose from. This is big, guys. We haven't seen everything. In the picture in the Retinue 1, it didn't show the surgeon. I'm sure we all could have assumed, yes, there will be a surgeon of some sort. But that makes it pretty interesting. So just remember that there is going to be trial and error, and some of these are subject to change. But ultimately, with the surgeon, what it ultimately is talking about is you have a guy who has a better chance of protecting your guys from death, but does not protect them from the permanent injury, which is all fine because it also helps in late game, as it says right here, which particularly can be helpful in late game with the experience in key players. In addition, the surgeon looks after injuries on non-permanent kinds, helps your men recover faster, and reduces downtime. It's pretty simple. If you have yourself a surgeon, it knocks down the downtime and it gives you a better chance to survive. So it's almost like a perk for every single guy. And remember that. Look at it as a perk, because he can't fight, obviously. But he gives you the full advantage of keeping your guys alive. So, very interesting. And also, just looking at the picture here, I like that it is more Middle Eastern look to it for a surgeon. Of course, that adds more value. I bet you there's going to be different pictures, too. For instance, you're going to see this guy, you'll probably see a monk, you might see an actual different type of surgeon. I imagine it's not just going to be this, but who knows. Either way, very nice touch. Now we're going to get on to the Scavenger. Now for me, I originally thought the Scavenger was, I thought this little boy, I didn't know that he was going to be a Scavenger, but I thought that he might be like somebody that grows up to be somebody, or something to that effect, but he is actually the Scavenger. So the Scavenger could be one of your men or an urchin that you took pity on. The Scavenger pulls its weight, collecting bits and pieces to every battlefield. So ultimately what he does, and this is probably the most, of all the ones that I've heard, he's probably the most pivotal to your gameplay. And the reason why is because during battle, as it says right here, well, I'll just read his, because I think this is like so not action-packed, unless I fire off a gun in my house. It's not that action-packed, but with the Scavenger around, each armor destroyed will grant you a certain amount of tools and supplies after battle, the exact amount depending on what kind of armor it was. This makes the Scavenger a useful choice for heavy armor compositions, let's go, that needs a lot of tools and supplies for upkeep, but also for companies that destroy most enemy armors with hammers. It can also, so can loot, and so, oh my goodness, you can still loot. Is what it's trying to say. I'm trying to say. But in this way, still receive some loot anyway. When fighting lots of greenskins, so there's a chance to actually get something from greenskins, because usually when you face greenskins, you might have the powerhouse weapons and good selling items for weapons, but ultimately you don't get much from these fights. It is kind of a risk. The Scavenger also returns a part of all ammunition you spent during battle, making heavy ranged companies more self-sufficient and use of throwing weapons less expensive. So pretty much, if you have a heavy armor guy, okay? And he's getting beaten down, just destroyed armor and stuff. You have like tanks. It's very, 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 very pivotal for the late game. The fact that he can get back a portion of your ammunition is really great, so you're not spending it constantly. You're getting more armor, or you're getting more tools and supplies. In other words, fantastic. We all know that your average cost for tools and supplies is 200, right? If he can pull 15 tools, 10 to 15 tools, that's like 100 to 150 crowns per battle. Think about that. That's very, very impressive. And I'm just assuming that's how many crowns, or that's how many tools and supplies. He could be doing way more than that. And I love this little thing here. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this yet, but he is sitting on a hedge knight, an old rusted hedge knight helm. So all he does is scavenge the battlefield for extra stuff. Now, does he find more things? I don't know. I'm not sure. It looks like it is okay. So makes Scavenger a useful choice for heavy armored compositions that need lots of tools and armors to upkeep. Company destroyed most of the armors with hammers, so can't loot those, but still receive loot anyways. To me, that still sounds like there's a chance that you could get this. You know, if you just wanted to, hey, we need, like, I need to, instead of stabbing this hedge knight and he's just wrecking our guys, we need to kill him. And maybe he helps the chance, but I don't imagine it's very high. However, I do believe the tools and supplies will come through. So I think, honestly, if every fight you're getting at least 150 to 400 crowns back in tools and supplies, ammunition, and so on, definitely something to think about. Put it, whatever it is, let's say he's 4,000 crowns to get. Just kind of weird for just picking up some kid on the side of the street, but just something to think about. You know, how does it average out in the late game? Next one, the Cartographer. Now, the Cartographer, he is a scribe, essentially. And I will kind of go through here and just kind of say what's what. So the Cartographer is a man of culture and knowledge, but he also realizes that traveling with a company of well-armed mercenaries is one of the best ways to safely see the world and explore places that he's to visit. And then down here, available once you've found at least one legendary location, the Cartographer will pay you for each location that you discover out in the world on your own. The further away from civilization a location is found, the more he'll arrange for you to be paid. And legendary locations pay extra. Very cool. The Cartographer is one example of several followers that further support specialized playstyles. If you are more interested in heading out in your own terms, explore the world, raid locations rather than doing contracts, he will make this more profitable venture. That part right there, that's probably the most telling piece right here. In a similar vein, there are followers available to support playstyles like banditry, trading, hunting enemies, or enemy champions for bounties, and loot. So when you initially go over what he is, it comes off like, okay, so let's say he gives you 2,000 crowns per legendary location. Like legendary location, not just location. Location, let's say 1,000, 2,000 for legendary. Okay, that's a lot of money, sure. But this here is nuts. It's nuts, man. I'm just saying, it's completely nuts. It is simply stating several followers that further support specialization styles. If you're more interested in heading out on your own terms, explore the world and raid locations rather than doing contracts, he'll make this more profitable. That tells me that there are going to be a slew, not just some, but a slew of characters that can pretty much make you a different type of mercenary group. Like, you don't have to do contracts anymore. Not maybe you still do, but explore the world, raid locations rather than doing contracts. That's out there, right? And he'll make this more profitable venture. So when you destroy locations, there's a chance maybe you get 300, 500 crowns per location you destroy. I'm putting it pretty low because, you know, situationally, how is he actually going to get you more money? Like, how is it going to, what's the scaling of it? Because they are going to test it. But here we are again, trade, hunting enemy champions for bounties, which we all know champions is one of the tough ones. It's something that you don't see enough champions, I feel like. I don't know. I wish we could come across more champions. It's one of those things that's just, it's a blast, and you know what you're going to kind of get from it. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time. The part of the loots that makes it kind of interesting too is it almost sets it up as if not only trading, but somehow there's more value to what you have in your group. And I gotta imagine they're actually gonna put a actual trader, like someone who trades, like an actual trade that gives you more, like maybe a 10% bonus, kind of like the caravan ride, which could be very, very interesting playing that run. That'd be pretty wild. So finally, I just want to go over kind of, if you guys hadn't seen the Retinue, the first part, I'll kind of just let you know. So ultimately, you have this character here, and he's a training guy, drill sergeant, right? You have to have one brother who has a permanent injury, died, came back to life, however you want to say it. You have to have at least, requirement-wise, at least renown of 1800. Retire a brother with a permanent injury. Oh, duh, that's the same thing. And then finally up front, 5,000. He ultimately grants you a 10% more experience bonus. Makes men in reserve never lose their mood by not taking part in battles. That's a big deal. I mean, it's all annoying. Everybody knows. Constantly switching in and out brothers that don't need to be on the front line. You just have them as backups. You know, this is great. This drill sergeant would be such a great person to have. However, there is some interesting text that tells you that pretty much there are different followers. Like, there's a chance that you can get rid of somebody and get somebody new. I do discuss that some more in the other in my other video, but it's just something to think about, because maybe there's a higher percentage chance or percentage for experience than 10. Like, let's say a hedge knight dice, comes back to life. He might give you 20% more because of his experience. And then finally, down here at the bottom, it does talk about having a donkey around. You can upgrade the donkey to have go from a cart to a wagon, and then a bigger wagon to increase your inventory. So maybe they'll put some more, just kind of show what it looks like and so on. Obviously, this is your donkey, but maybe there's more variety. Something to that effect. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for today. I'd love to hear you guys' comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Some of your ideas, some of your thoughts. Like, what would be a cool character for them to unveil to us, and what would their abilities be? Without further ado, beyond that, if you guys hit the like, I'd appreciate it. But if you subscribe, we can get more content like this to you. So, with all that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.